From a scary smiley face to a naturally generated half bed, here are 50 Minecraft seeds you need to try. This mansion is over 60 blocks tall, which is already impressive, but inside you'll find portal ruins, part of a village, and even a naturally generated half bed. And all of this right at the spawn. This island seems unreal. Here you will find a village, a shipwreck, an ocean monument, an exposed stronghold, and even portal ruins. Isn't that too much? Villages usually have at least a few houses, but this one is an exception. There are some random paths and hay bales, but you won't find a single house here. Shipwrecks are usually quite damaged, but somehow on this seed there is a ship without any damage, with not bad loot inside. That looks like it's ready to sail. And a few blocks away, there is even a zombie village ready to explore. Speaking of pirate ships, try this seed, where you spawn directly on a ship. And although you won't get good loot, you can always make your first base here. Check out this village. It generated on top of a strange wintry mountain, and while the views are beautiful, the villagers don't have an easy life here, because the mountain is over 150 blocks tall. This stronghold is one of the weirdest I've ever seen. It features a broken end portal, where only 1/3 is functional. This is because it's on the edge of a chunk. If you love robbing villagers, you'll definitely like this seed. 10 blacksmiths in one village. Something like this is really rare, so you'll be hard-pressed to find anything like it anywhere else. And here's all the loot you'll get here. On this seed, you will find a beautiful mountain with cherry trees all around. We will also come across an exposed cave here, filled entirely with dripstone. And at the very top of the mountain, you will even find a pillager outpost that can overlook a closely set village. When you appear on this seed, you will notice a giant steep island. It looks strange, especially in the middle of the ocean. And on the top of the island, there is a bamboo jungle, along with a jungle temple. This snowy village generated right in the middle of a giant swamp. It's a pretty weird sight to see two completely different biomes connected in exactly this weird way. And just 200 blocks away, we'll also find trial chambers. Usually villages only have one church, but this one is a bit different. There are exactly 8 churches here, scattered throughout the village, so it's definitely very religious. Check out this beautiful desert village. It's located on the side of a mountain. There's also a shipwreck with good loot to start with, a small coral reef, and beautiful open lush caves. This is the tallest naturally generated cactus. It's 23 blocks tall, which is the world record so far. I have to admit, it looks really weird. This is the craziest terrain generation glitch. It stretches up to 250 blocks high. Some call it aquifers, and it looks really impressive, but I'm sure the villagers don't have an easy life here. At the bottom of this canyon, you'll come across a witch's hut, right above a river of lava. Unfortunately, the hut won't last long, because the whole structure will burn down quickly. This is the smallest cherry grove biome. It only generated one single cherry tree, and you might think I built this, but it actually generated here. Check out these trial chambers. They've mixed with the nearby stronghold, which created unique room designs. But if you are looking for a good hoe, try this seed, which offers the best possible hoe to get, with efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, fortune 3, and mending. All that is left is to add netherite. Ever wondered what the end island would look like without an end stone? Well, this seed actually has one. There are only obsidian pillars and a return portal, but not a single piece of the island. These two structures generated right on top of the woodland mansion roof. This is a pretty weird combination of structures that aren't exactly typical, but it's definitely cool to see. And underneath the whole structure, we can even find a lush cave. At the bottom of this ravine, there's something you might not expect. Somehow a desert pyramid has generated down here, in the middle of this beautiful lush cave. But you won't be happy with the loot, because all you'll get is a bedrock floor. This jungle temple is literally floating in the air. It looks pretty weird and unrealistic, but it was actually generated here. But I wouldn't come here for the loot. Minecraft terrain generation is pure randomness, and that means that sometimes we can come across some pretty weird anomalies and interesting naturally generated shapes, like this creepy smiling face that's right next to the spawn. Those two little lakes look like eyes, and that curved ravine looks like a mouth. I wouldn't settle here. After entering this seed, you'll find yourself on a shipwreck in the ocean, right next to a beautiful coral reef. Nearby, you also have the ruined portal. The whole seed is perfect for recording the 100 days challenge here. This villager's house is slightly illegal. We will find naturally generated half door, as well as half a bed. Instead of a floor, there is a farm, and all this in just one house. On this seed, you'll appear right next to a village, half generated in the rare pale garden biome, which definitely looks atmospheric. There's also a blacksmith in the village, and underground we'll come across huge, diverse caves, as well as an ancient city. When going to the end, most players take at least 12 Eyes of Ender with them. But did you know that each portal frame block has a 10% chance of already being filled? So finding a fully filled portal is incredibly rare, and it's exactly 1 in 1 trillion chances. This is the largest cherry grove biome you've ever seen. It stretches over 1,000 blocks, which makes it quite an unusual phenomenon. Near the spawn, we'll find a beautiful lake with a sunken portal ruin and 2 pillager outposts nearby. This seed is absolutely crazy. It generated a woodland mansion, pillager outpost, and a village, all in the middle of a lake. There are also floating floating islands here, and underwater there is even an ocean monument. You shouldn't skip the desert pyramids, because this one hides a whopping 8 notch apples. In the Badlands biome, you can often come across mines that sometimes have a monster spawner, like this completely illegal pig spawner. This seed generated a spawner in the same place as a chest, causing a game bug and reverting it to the default pig spawner. And what's crazy is that it happened 5 times in one place. Usually strongholds are hidden deep underground, but this one is different. Both the stronghold library and the portal room are completely visible above the water, so they're easy to spot. If you go inside this desert pyramid, you'll notice that one chest is a bit suspicious. When you open it, it turns out to be filled with nothing but bones. I don't want to know what happened here. Usually, your first spawn is in a relatively large area, but on this seed, things are a bit different. You will literally spawn on one small block, surrounded by the ocean. This view is so beautiful. On this seed, you'll appear in a meadow, surrounded on both sides by rivers and a beautiful cherry grove biome. And underground, you'll come across trial chambers and even ancient city. The elytra is one of the best items ever, so why not get 2 at once? These 2 ships overlapped almost perfectly, and all of this is because of 2 end cities generated very close to each other. Although these mountains look quite impressive, they are not the most important thing here, because when we dig right under them, we will come across the ancient city, in which one chest contains 6 enchanted golden apples, and if you go to the nearby mine, you will find another one there. This swamp biome generated in the middle of a desert, and this desert generated surrounded by another mangrove swamp biome. It looks like some kind of oasis, which is pretty cool. There is also an azalea tree here, meaning there is a lush cave underground. This woodland mansion measures over 180 blocks tall, most of which is a giant cobblestone foundation. It is more of a skyscraper than a woodland mansion. This is the largest end city in the world. I'm sure you'll find a lot of treasures here, since there are 21 chests in total. And of course, there's the elytra here too. For comparison, this is the smallest end city, and I personally wouldn't even call it a city, because it looks more like a house. This seed will spawn you on a beautiful island with a village and a woodland mansion on it. There's also the ocean monument nearby, and a few shipwrecks scattered around. This is the best seed to start a new adventure with. This is a real skull island. You'll appear on top of a picturesque hill, surrounded by a colourful coral reef, and a large village near the spawn, and even a camel. However, from the north of the island, you'll notice that it looks like a skull, which is filled inside by a beautiful lush cave. The igloo should be on the ground, but this one thinks differently. It appeared over 100 blocks above the ground, literally floating in the clouds. Mushroom islands are pretty rare, but this one is a real gem because it is completely surrounded by 4 ocean monuments, so you won't be lonely here. In comparison, this ocean monument is completely landlocked by a mushroom island. It is located in the middle of a large lake, which looks like a good place for a mega base. Usually, to find the woodland mansion, you have to travel thousands of blocks from the spawn. However, once you spawn on this seed, you will find 4 different mansions very close to the spawn point, as well as a village, an ocean monument, and even a small mushroom island. You can also visit a rare pale garden biome if 4 mansions weren't enough. We've seen some weird things generated on Bedrock Edition before, but this seed looks really cool. A huge cherry grove biome stretching across the surrounding hills. There is also a village located in a picturesque lowland, and right below the village we will find a stronghold with an almost ready portal. Tell me, doesn't it look beautiful? A peaceful, picturesque lake, completely surrounded by a cherry grove biome. But that's just the beginning. Nearby you will find a pillager outpost, as well as portal ruins, and at the very end you will get a slightly distant village. Here you have literally everything you need to start a new adventure. If you don't want to deal with mobs, you should settle on this mushroom island. It's simply huge, and it stretches for several thousand blocks. The island is so big that you can even find a stronghold here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you can also watch this one.